Entire 46-person Chinese study tour group denied entry to the U.S. Microsoft to relocate 800 Chinese staff to U.S., Australia with families. Shenyang elderly man furiously attacks city management officer, calling him a bandit in viral video. BYD car dealership in Fuzhou engulfed by overnight fire, leaving only the frame. Li Auto announces major layoffs as China's electric vehicle industry enters first year of elimination round. CCP adjusts financial value added calculation method, admitting GDP falsification? It's all covered in today's China Truths. Entire 46-person Chinese study tour group denied entry to the U.S. Recently, the phenomenon of leaving China has become popular in China, with many people even attempting to immigrate illegally to other countries. This has drawn the attention of U.S. officials, leading to stricter scrutiny of visa issuance criteria. A recent case involves an educational tour group from mainland China applying for U.S. visas at the American Embassy, where all 46 students were denied visas during the interview phase. According to a parent, the renowned institution organizing the tour encouraged the students to lie during their interviews. A parent revealed online that they paid 69,800 yuan, about $9,700, for their child to join a 14-day educational tour to the U.S. during the summer vacation. This tour was supposed to occur in 2 batches in July and August. Students were to arrive in Beijing a day early for training at the institution's headquarters. During the training, instructors repeatedly emphasized to the students that they should claim they were part of the July group. As a result, they were caught by the consular officer on the spot and divided into 2 groups. Furthermore, on May 9th, when 46 students went for their interviews, only 2 accompanying teachers passed, and it was their first time meeting that day. The visa process was chaotic, with the 46 students divided into 3 groups, one of which had no accompanying teacher. When the visa officer asked where the teacher was, the students couldn't find them. Later, a Chinese staff member suggested combining the 3 groups into one. Meanwhile, the visa officer started communicating with the accompanying teachers and collected the children's passports for scanning in the computer. Ultimately, all 46 students were denied visas. In the comments section, an eyewitness noted that the tour group was large, but the leaders seemed not very clever. Although the staff instructed them to form groups of 7 students each, the leaders decided to form groups of 6 instead. Other parents expressed their frustration, saying, "We rushed to Beijing in the middle of the night, prepared for months, and practiced many times, only to be messed up by this." The news outlet The Paper reports that U.S. visas are increasingly difficult to obtain for Chinese citizens, with a rising rejection rate. Some even queue for 2 hours only to be denied within 2 minutes of their interview. However, some netizens pointed out that rehearsing isn't necessary and honesty is the best policy. Others commented, "Lying is the glorious tradition of the party, the first visa precaution is not to lie." Is it necessary to lie about everything, big or small? What else can children growing up in such an environment develop but a cunning personality? Microsoft to relocate 800 Chinese staff to U.S., Australia with families. The tech battle between the U.S. and China is intensifying. The U.S. has been tightening restrictions on China's access to advanced artificial intelligence (AI) chips to prevent the CCP from using high-tech to enhance military capabilities. The competition in AI between the 2 nations is also escalating. This confrontation in the tech sector is increasing pressure on American companies operating in China. The Wall Street Journal reported on May 16 that Microsoft is in discussions with employees from its cloud computing and AI divisions in China, arranging for their transfer to the US, Australia, and other locations. Sources familiar with the matter revealed earlier this week that Microsoft has offered its employees in relevant departments the option to relocate to countries including the US, Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand. These departments mainly consist of Chinese national engineers, involving around 700 to 800 people. A Microsoft spokesperson confirmed to Reuters the opportunity for this transfer, stating that offering internal opportunities has always been part of the company's global operations. The spokesperson did not specify the exact number of employees involved. The spokesperson emphasized that Microsoft remains committed to the Chinese market and will continue its business operations in China and other markets. Chinese state media The Paper reported on Wednesday that a Microsoft employee said the affected employees have less than a month to make a decision. Another state media outlet, China Business News, reported that employees also have the option not to relocate. Previously, numerous online messages indicated that relevant department employees suddenly received notices, with some departments requiring all members to move to the U.S., and most in other departments already receiving offers from the U.S. Online messages stated that employees could choose to move to the U.S., Australia, or New Zealand and could bring their families along, with the company handling visa arrangements. The sudden notification left some people confused, but many were happy about the opportunity to migrate to the US or Australia. There were even jokes among employees from other departments about needing to marry someone from the Azure, cloud service, department quickly to be taken abroad. Some internal employees lamented, "Important people are moving away, unimportant ones are getting laid off, and the China region can just be shut down." On the platform X, netizens commented, "This is a complete decoupling." Microsoft entered the Chinese market in 1992 and is one of the largest U.S. companies operating in China, with a significant research and development center. Wari quoted industry analysts stating that relocating Microsoft staff in China to other locations poses an indirect risk to the CCP's AI vision, especially given the global scarcity of top engineering talent. The report noted that Microsoft's Asia-Pacific R&D team employs about 7,000 engineers, most of whom are based in China. The U.S. is currently striving to prevent the CCP from developing cutting-edge AI technologies that could be used for military purposes. Over the past 2 years, the U.S. has imposed several rounds of restrictions on the CCP, limiting its purchase of advanced chips and chip manufacturing equipment used for training AI models. The U.S. also fears that the CCP might use AI models for cyber attacks or to develop biological weapons. Earlier this year, Microsoft released a report indicating that state-supported hackers from Russia, the CCP, and Iran have been using OpenAI tools to train their hacking skills and support hacking activities. Shenyang elderly man furiously attacks city management officer, calling him a bandit in viral video. On May 15 in Shenyang, Liaoning, an elderly man who was setting up a street stall was violently evicted by city management officers. Enraged, he called the officers bandits and hurled a brick at one of them. The incident was captured on video and quickly spread online. The video shows the scene in a small park in Shenyang, where many people were setting up stalls. Several uniformed city management officers were forcibly evicting the elderly man, accusing him of occupying too much space. An elderly woman, who was also setting up a stall with him, rushed to persuade him. The elderly man shouted at the officers, "What kind of people are you, bandits? Is this how you maintain order, by creating conflict?" The officers ignored the elderly man and continued to clear his stall, throwing his belongings to the roadside. The elderly woman tried to intervene but was dragged by an officer and fell to the ground. Already furious, the elderly man, seeing this, became further enraged. He picked up a brick from the ground and hurled it at one of the officers, who couldn't dodge in time and fell to the ground with a head injury and bleeding. The elderly man was then restrained by several officers and pinned to the ground, unable to move. As the elderly man attacked the officer, onlookers cheered, highlighting the unpopularity of the city management officers who often evict street vendors. The incident quickly escalated. On May 15th, the Heping District Government of Shenyang reported that the elderly man had occupied multiple stalls without permission, refused to cooperate with the cleanup, and struck a city management officer with a brick, causing multiple fractures. The police have taken the elderly man into custody. However, the public's reaction to the elderly man's actions was significantly different from the official stance. Many mainland netizens criticized the city management officers as being like the mafia. They commented, "I just want to know, when the brick hit, why were the bystanders all saying good, good, good? What does that mean?" The full video is gone, but if you saw it, you'd understand why the old man had to throw it. BYD car dealership in Fuzhou engulfed by overnight fire, leaving only the frame. In the early hours of May 16, a fire broke out at a BYD 4S car dealership in Qingkou Town, Minho County, Fuzhou City, Fujian Province. Video footage from the scene showed the fire burning fiercely, with flames shooting into the sky accompanied by loud explosions. The showroom was burned down to its frame. According to multiple media reports, including Fujian TV and the Strait Metropolis Daily, the fire started at 0:32 a.m. near a highway exit. The combustible material was the electric vehicles parked inside the showroom. The vehicles in the showroom were almost completely destroyed, leaving only the skeletal structure of the building. Approximately 7 cars inside the dealership were completely incinerated. Videos from the scene depicted the night sky turned red by the intense flames, presenting a shocking sight. The BYD sign at Qingkou was intermittently visible through the flames. As reported by Jingzhou Daily, an eyewitness said that the fire was very intense. The showroom contained new energy vehicles, and their batteries also caught fire. A local resident mentioned that he was half asleep when he was suddenly awakened by loud bangs of explosions, which scared him so much that he hurriedly pulled back the curtains to look outside. The scene was as bright as day with a red glow not far from his home. It is reported that the fire also damaged many private cars that had been brought to the dealership for repairs. Regarding the losses from the fire, a dealership employee mentioned that the showroom cars were insured, but compensation and repairs for private cars would need further negotiation with the car owners. Insiders revealed that the estimated damage from the fire is around 4 to 5 million yuan, about $700,000. Li Auto announces major layoffs as China's electric vehicle industry enters first year of elimination round. Following a wave of closures among new energy producers in China, it seems another wave of layoffs has arrived. According to a report by 21st Century Business Herald on May 16, Li Auto, a Chinese electric vehicle manufacturer, is undergoing a new round of company-wide personnel optimization after the May Day holiday, affecting over 18% of its staff. The company's 2023 financial report shows that Li Auto employed nearly 31,600 people, meaning this round of layoffs affected more than 5,600 people, primarily including employees from sales service operations, recruitment departments, and the smart driving team. Additionally, the sales target for Li Auto's Mega has been reduced to a quarter of its original goal, dropping from 8,000 to 2,000 units per month. In March this year, all of Li Auto's contracted personnel were dismissed. Jiemian News reported that Li Auto is facing issues such as lower-than-expected sales and poor performance of its first all-electric product, the Li Auto Mega, and is looking to reduce costs through layoffs. Besides Li Auto, Jiemian News also reported that BYD, a leading new energy company in mainland China, is implementing stricter performance management internally. Honda also announced on the 16th that it is seeking voluntary resignations among its regular employees locally. Last month, today's headlines cited insiders revealing that Tesla's China branch had to reduce its workforce by up to 50% to adapt to market changes and adjust production capacity. Clearly, China's new energy vehicle industry is facing intense competition. Along with layoffs, there is also a wave of price reductions in electric vehicles. Entering 2024, leading companies like BYD and Tesla began price cuts, forcing other manufacturers to follow suit. Brands like Avatar, Leapmotor, FAW Toyota, NIO, Aura, and Lynk & Co. launched various promotional campaigns, including limited-time insurance subsidies and deposit discounts. For the overseas markets, where Chinese new energy vehicles have significant presence, they are now facing higher trade barriers. On May 14, the United States announced a 100% tariff on electric vehicles from China, and Europe is also expected to conclude its anti-subsidy investigations into Chinese electric cars soon. On February 18, the first day back to work after the Lunar New Year holiday, He Xiaoping, chairman of Xpeng Motors, sent an internal letter to all employees stating, "This year marks the first year of Blood Sea competition for Chinese automotive brands, also the first year of the elimination round." CCP adjusts financial value added calculation method, admitting GDP falsification? Recently, First Financial reported that in order to improve the accuracy of GDP statistics, the CCP's National Bureau of Statistics made an optimization adjustment to the quarterly accounting method for the financial sector's value added during the first quarter of this year. An authoritative market expert stated that in the last 2 years, under the backdrop of insufficient effective credit demand, the old accounting method at month ends emphasized intensified supervision over the growth rate of deposits and loans. This was intended to artificially inflate the financial sector's value added in various regions, thereby boosting GDP growth. Previously, local financial institution personnel revealed that in order to meet targets at critical times, local banks would pull deposits from businesses or other banks, leading to the relocation of deposits from one region to another. Once the critical moment passed and data compilation was completed, the deposits and loans might return to their original location. According to market experts, the old accounting method first inflated the value added of the financial industry. Additionally, the old method disrupted market expectations and macroeconomic regulation. According to a May 15 report by the South China Morning Post, China's financial sector's value added to GDP has historically been high compared to other countries, nearing 8%, which is almost double the OECD average of 4.8%. This discrepancy has raised concerns about the veracity of China's economic data. The methodological change came after a significant contraction in April's social financing data, which was the first decline in nearly 2 decades. The total financing amount in China, including bank credits and securities, shrank by 18.9 billion yuan, about $2.6 billion, month over month, signaling a potential correction in previously inflated figures. The CCP has faced long-standing accusations of manipulating economic data to meet political goals. In response, the draft amendment to the statistics law was submitted for review by China's highest legislative body in April, focusing on preventing and punishing statistical falsifications. Moreover, the inclusion of statistical falsification in the CCP discipline punishment regulations in January is part of broader efforts to address these concerns. However, the CCP's action has been mockingly described by the outside world as thief crying "Stop thief." This ongoing issue of data integrity has been a point of international concern, as global investors and media have often questioned the reliability of Chinese economic figures. Taiwan's general economist Wu Jialong also told the Epoch Times, "It's no longer worth discussing the truth of CCP data, because the economic data officially released by the CCP, from such large figures as GDP growth rates to others, are unreliable, and talking about it is meaningless." He revealed that mainland friends told him that the CCP has invented a new method to maintain GDP growth rates, by lowering last year's data, then even if this year's growth is only 1% or 0.5%, they can report a good growth rate of 4% or 5% this year. This is how they play. And then they repeat this every year, always showing a growth rate. Let us know your thoughts on today's topic by leaving a comment below. If you found this video helpful, please share it with a friend. It inspires us to continue creating more quality and reliable content. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more interesting insights from China Truths. Thanks for tuning in.